Hey everyone, I'm Brian with Aromacup.com. Thanks as always for joining me here again in my virtual coffee shop brought to you by Aromacup.com. I have a side-by-side comparison for you today. I'm going to be comparing Keurig K-Cups and the overall K-Cup design to this new Java Delight UnCup coffee pod design. Now what I'm going to show you here is the difference between these two, not only in the type of coffee that they make, but also in the environmental impact of these two. I think the Java Delight's come up with a really cool design here. I'm going to tell you why it's cool in my overview. So let's dive in and show you the difference between K-Cups and the new Java Delight UnCup single-serve coffee pods. Okay, so first off, I'm not going to brew a K-Cup. I've brewed probably potentially hundreds of K-Cups here on Aromacup.com, but I have brewed one already. I made this cup of coffee using this Thule's Coffee K-Cup. It's a house blend. Now, it's a pretty good looking cup of coffee. It came from my Keurig machine right here. I don't really have any complaints about it, but what I want to do is I want to show you how this new UnCup pod is going to brew coffee and tell you a little bit about it. Now, before I brew, let me just tell you a little bit about these pods in general. Java Delight packages them in recyclable paperboard, which is cool. And each box, should I say, comes with this packet of UnCup pods. Now, it's a breathable bag, which is one of the things I noticed that's pretty cool. Because the thing you're going to notice that's incredibly different about an UnCup pod over a K-Cup pod is that there's no plastic on the bottom half of it. It's just this filter which is holding all of the coffee. Now there is still a foil top right here and a little plastic ring, but there's not all the plastic that we're used to with a normal K-Cup. You see the difference between the two of those. In comparing the weight of these two different pods, we found that there's about 2 grams less plastic to a Java Delight pod than there is to a actual regular K-Cup. That's pretty impressive because multiplied many millions of times potentially over, that is a lot of waste cut down. So I think that's really cool. Now, of course, the real proof is going to be, does it make a good cup of coffee? So let's find out. Now, this brews just like a normal K-Cup. You're going to take it and you're just going to simply place it into your pod brewing machine. Now, the only part of this that's going to actually be punctured is the top foil. The filter itself is not going to be punctured, so that's something to keep in mind. You're not going to hear that usual pop that you hear when you put a K-Cup into a K-Cup machine. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just start brewing. Now, we're almost done here, and I'm going to compare the color of these two cups side by side. All right, so this is our UnCup right here from Java Delight. This is our K-Cup. They look pretty much about the same to me. And, I really don't see any major difference between those two. The flavor is quite good. And I will say that as compared to a K-Cup, I really don't taste plastic in most K-Cups, but I will say that I can't taste any extra residue in an UnCup, which I think is really awesome because it's just going to be pure flavor of coffee. And again, one of the things that's really cool here is how much less plastic you're actually going to be getting. Now, you would think that with less plastic that maybe there's going to be less coffee, but that's actually not the case. In one UnCup pod, we found there to be about 10 grams of dry coffee. That is pretty good. That's about the same as what we have found in an average K-Cup. So you're still getting the same amount of coffee grounds, but you're using less plastic in the long run. Less plastic in landfills, of course, equals less impact on the earth. There you go, guys. That's an overview of the Java Delight UnCup single-serve coffee pod. Again, if you're looking to be green about your coffee making, I really do think that this is a great way to go, because obviously one of the worries with K-Cups has been that there's just so much plastic going into landfills. These add up when you multiply them by hundreds of thousands. They really very much do. So I love the idea of a filtration system that doesn't rely on that heavy plastic, which is not recyclable either. That's the other thing to keep in mind. The plastic in K-Cups is not in any way recyclable because it has to deal with so much heat from a machine. So if you're looking to be green about your coffee making and get a really great flavor at the same time, I would definitely say check out the Java Delight UnCups single-serve pods. Again, you're going to find them in these recyclable paperboard boxes. There's 12 single-serve pods in this one bag. And I'm absolutely very impressed with what Java Delight has offered up here. So I hope that you guys will be as well. I hope this was useful to you. As always, I want to thank you for joining me here in my virtual coffee shop, brought to you by Aromacup.com. I'm Brian. I hope to see you guys next time, and take care.